6 hours on the clock. We're about to go racing at Spa-Francorchamps for round 2 of the FIA World Endurance Championship. Brendan Hartley on the left-hand side gets the go and goes immediately and jumps away from the 2 Toyotas, which drop into second and third. Looks like the Porsche's going to have to go the long way around to hold on to the position of second, and does so. And it's Porsche, Toyota, Audi. And the Audis are very quick down the hill towards Eau Rouge for the first time, and there's one of them in the third position. That is the lead Audi now. Behind them there was a spin in the midfield, hasn't affected the leaders. One of the red and white Manor LMP2 cars went around. Couldn't see whether it was Roberto Meri or Will Stevens. They were close together in the pack, and it looks like it was Meri, I think, that went around the leading qualifying car.
It's an immediate pass onto the Kemmel straight from the second Audi. Porsche, Audi, Toyota as they sort themselves out. It was indeed Roberto Meri that went around, has dropped back to 25th position. The car has made it through sector 1, but has lost a lot of ground. Jimmy Bruni, meanwhile, has leapfrogged several of the LMP2 cars in that melee and takes the lead in GT Pro.
Right, let's have a look at the start again. The pole man gets a great start, and on board with the 43 coming through the field. Now look behind, there's the 2 Manners. This is where the incident happened. Oh, and there was a bump there. That was the Alpine.
And which Alpine?
There was a pretty good recovery from Meri, and one of the Fords getting tied up with it in that as well. That would have been Marino Franchitti, who dropped down through the field in the 6-7 car. And there's the puncture already on the run down to Eau Rouge for the first time.
Well, there we go.
Tyre debris ripping through the back right-hand side.
And away we go. The field is underway for the 6 hours of Spa. The number 9 Toyota lunges immediately to the inside. Monster lockup, disappears off towards France. And he wasn't the only one either. The second Toyota there, that was the number 7 car, also went in so deep. And I think that makes Andre Lotterer the leader ahead of Toyota number 8, Sebastian Buemi, taking up second place. The number 9 car rejoins just ahead of our LMP2 field. Investigation for grid procedures, and he's now in fact being passed by the top 2. Take a look at the start again, Alan. Disaster for number 9.
Right, you just see there's he goes in a little bit, he locks up the front, then locks up the rear as the hybrid starts to activate, and the only way is to abort and go straight on. Here you see it there, car on the left hand side. Yeah, a tad optimistic, shall we say? Yeah, bye-bye.
The flag is waved and we are go! The 2 Toyotas lead away from the front of the grid. It is Andre Lotterer. He's trying to go round the outside. He's pushed onto the curb. He's cheeky, isn't he? But he goes wide immediately. It is the Toyotas 1 and 2 as they go into the chicane. And his nose is off, and the Dragon Speed car spins over one of the bollards. I think Lotterer's nose was damaged because he hit the back of the Toyota before he turned into the first corner. The drama starts already.
Let's get a replay of this. Now watch here. So look at Andre Lotterer. He's got a bit of a gap, and now he's gunned it. Now the Toyota on the right-hand side gets, we're on board with that number 7 Toyota. Now he gets off the line. Well, they both go, and really we want to be looking to the left-hand side. And now he starts to, we've kind of missed it, isn't it? We've missed the point where Andre potentially made contact with that Toyota. You can see the point where he drives into the number 10 car.
Did they
here
touch?
We go, yes, there.
Yeah, and the nose is gone.
There's the damage straight away.
Did he touch that Dragon?
No, he didn't.
I don't think he touched it.
did.
And we are racing. Ferrari locked out the front row of the grid. Will they still be in front in 24 hours' time? The Toyota number 8 sweeping around the outside, looking for second place. Lock up from the Porsche, the 75 car. There's contact with the Toyota. They both survive. Peugeot and Cadillac both take to the runoff area.
Well, we saw what happened into the first chicane. Let's see into this one. It is treacherous, like you say, Martin, and already the 75 going wide again. I think that's the same car, Felipe Nasser, that ran into the side, the left rear of one of the Toyotas, and cars going off the track, left, right, centre here.
Yeah, the 4 of the 63 take to the infield.
Oh, into the barrier there.
It's the 311 into the barrier on the exit of the first chicane.
That's the Action Express Cadillac. And he is right in the middle of the field. He's got no steering, or he's got no bodywork. He has low left front corner. Now he's going to try and drag that back to the pits.
This is on board with Jack Aitken. Do you want to take us through this, Anne?
Yeah, so the first right, we knew it was wet, stay off the curbs, a little bit of oversteer there. Through that next left, the caddy getting sideways, the sister car, and on power, The rear just snaps. He catches it. The equivalent of a high side on the motorbike goes the other way.
Be advised, we have a lot of debris on track.
Will the pole man get into the lead in the first corner, or will it be the pole alongside him? The inside line, the driver's left, is usually the best here. It's going to be a long wait for the green. We go. The field swarms away. It's already 3 deep behind the Lamborghini.
There's already a crash as well.
Contact in the pit wall. Smoke behind, but it is Ferrari. 1, 2, 3. Kubica's very wide. Look at the way the cars are swirling around. One Peugeot out, one BMW out, and the Isotta is in the gravel trap. Jean-Carl Vernet will try and drive through there.
Yeah, some of the GTs as well touched each other. I saw a car spin round and end up in the barrier on the main straight even as they jostled for position there. And then, like you pointed out, Martin, cars spearing off the circuit. And there's the car I saw.
Yeah, it wasn't the Isotta. Both Alpines were off. So one of the Peugeots, 94, Paul di Resta, both Alpines, and you just saw Marco Wittmann in the number 15 BMW, their better qualified car.
It's Yasser Shaheen in trouble in the number 91 Porsche, which was the incident that you spotted there.
He
Anthony?
did not get across the start line, barely. There's the 94 Peugeot. Paul di Resta had trouble in the race last year, and looks like he's got trouble very early on. There was definitely contact there. It was 3 wide around the slightly slow-starting Lamborghini of Mirko Bortolotti, the green car there.
I'll look further back in the field. There's already the
contact, BMW Peugeot. That takes out one Alpine. The other one tries to avoid the reversing BMW, goes through the gravel.
So the second race in a row, we've seen cars make contact now. What happens here? There's the BMW in front of us. And he just locks it. Does he get hit by the Isotta Fraschini? I think on the right-hand side there was contact. Yeah, so this car we're on board with now, the Peugeot had contact from behind.
That's di Resta. He got tagged from behind, on board with the second of the Alpine. And it's all happening in front of him. That's the Mark Martin camera view.
Yeah, there's the contact. So this
it's the Alpine into the Peugeot.
Exactly.
And which was the better of the Alpines? 35, I think, and that's Mathieu Vaxivier's car. There's the Isotta. That's the view from the Isotta Fraschini.
So the Isotta hit the Alpine, it was a domino effect.
It was exactly that. It was the 11 into the, which of the Alpines was it? Then into the BMW, that then hit the Peugeot.
Yeah.
So it was a real billiards move really there. Cars, by the way, running behind the safety car through pit lane because of the debris from the incident involving the 91.
Oh. It all goes quiet and you're facing backwards in that number 15 BMW. Scary moment for Marco Wittmann. Lone Star Le Mans, 6 hours in the extreme heat of the Circuit of the Americas is underway. Antonio Giovinazzi, the pole man, and right behind him, Robert Kubica tucks in. The second of the Ferraris, the red car up the inside, looking for third place. That's a really strong start. Aggressive from Miguel Molina. Lots of handfuls of opposite lot from the BMWs, but it is Molina up to third. Ferdy Habsburg in the pale blue Alpine down to fourth place. We ride on board with him. He's got one of the BMWs and now ahead of the Cadillac. And everybody through safely, and move up into second place from Francois Heriot in the silver Ferrari, right behind Ian James in the Aston Martin. The Lamborghini goes around the outside of the Toyota. Aggressive stuff. Who started the Lamborghini? The 63 car is Edo Mortara. He was really up for the race this morning. Can't quite get the job done.
That's one heck of a start for the Lamborghini. Started from the very back of the grid in Hypercar. I think he's passed about 6 cars in the early corners.
Yeah, and a strong start for both BMWs as well, making positions. But it was Kobayashi, one of the Toyotas, I believe, got pushed out or lost control momentarily through the chicane at the start. And I think that's how he lost out to the Lamborghini, who's now on the attack once again. But it's a 4-way fight. Down towards turn 12 and contact with the Cadillac and the Alpine there.
Yeah, the Alpine just turned in on the Cadillac. That's Ferdy Habsburg, and he's gone off. So too has Earl Bamber, and he's back on, but Habsburg dropped back in the 35 car in amongst the Porsches, the Toyota and the Lamborghini.
Yeah, briefly also off there in that melee was one of the BMWs.
Moved down the inside from car 5 there. Porsche just getting through on the recovering Cadillac.
And we go green for the 8 hours of Bahrain. It's 6 wide and almost a BMW in the wall. The pole man looking down the inside. Sebastian Buemi leads, Mike Conway around the outside. Do they all get through cleanly? There's always a little bit of contact and something flew off a Ferrari or a Porsche, but they have all survived. LMGT3, McLaren 1-2, but somebody's gone across the grass, and Anthony, look at this, it's just absolute mayhem.
Yeah, I think it was definitely the Van Torka, and more contact for number 6, that's critical in turn 4, off of the track. Is there damage to the right-hand side of that Porsche? I believe a bit of bodywork had already been flung up through turn 1 and turn 2 between the two of them already.
Between the two Alpines comes the Cadillac, looking down the inside, having a good run to start the race.
Well, that is not the start that car number 6 needed for this 8-hour race today.
And the Ferrari 51 has split the Toyotas as well, jumping in at the start. 50 car a little further back ahead of the Lamborghini.
One of the Alpines off as well. That's car number 36. It's going to be a bit of a sandwich situation going on here.
And that's the number 6 Porsche squeezing between the Alpine and the Peugeot and trying to hold off 3 French cars right behind. That's a really hard start. It was always going to be a nervous 8 hours. It's going to be a very nervous 8 hours from here on in. 335 laps, 10 hours. We are going. Look at the Ferrari immediately from row 2 of the grid. That's Nick Nielsen trying to get alongside his teammate. The 51 car, James Collado, the pole sitter. The red cars are side by side. They run out wide. Collado keeps his nose in front, and the third place blue Alpine ahead of the gold of the first of the Cadillacs. Earl Bamber started 4th on the grid. Has he made it through? It looks, in fact, it's the BMW 3rd. So that is Kevin Magnussen. Good, clean start, but the Ferrari's already showing, and drama, bits flying off. One of the Peugeots was on the dirt, and one of the caddies has dropped right back. The number 12 car down to 11th place. Will Stevens getting shuffled out in the first couple of corners. It's Ferrari 1, 2, 3 wide behind the BMW for 4th place.
As we look back at the restart of this race and how feisty it was between the two Ferraris going into turn 1, Collado hangs onto that just about and just politely squeezed his teammate wide. It was a risky move there and a decisive move from the car we're on board with, but was just ran out of room. You can see it there. Actually, I think there was a little bit of contact. Well, it's contact all round, wasn't there? So yeah, that's how Will Stevens on the left-hand side lost so many positions. He was hit from behind. It's this car here. It's this car here. This is the one that hits him. Look.
Right. Contact between the Peugeot and the Porsche.
Oh, it's there. It's there. Wow, yeah, so it did. Wow, quite a big piece of bodywork, actually, from the left-hand side of that Porsche.
Let's take a look at the start. There are the two McLarens. They started side by side, the orange and black cars. Lexus and Ferrari, both with a car on row 2 and row 3.
Bit of contact further back down the pack with the blue Porsche and the yellow Corvette, who muscles his way by.
And on board with the Porsche, and this.
That's on board the Mustang.
No, that's the Mustang, you're right.
Up the inside of the Iron Dames. Way wide there.
Red lights on, and away we go. We are racing for the 6 hours of Imola. James Collado and Phil Hansen, and look at Kevin Magnussen down the inside of Hansen, looking for 2nd place into Tamburello. Can't quite make it through. The two Toyotas side by side. Through comes the Peugeot. The Peugeot staying in front of the Alpine. The 2nd Alpine trying to make up ground as well. That's the 35 car of Ferdy Habsburgen in LMGT3. It is the 46 BMW of Ahmed Al-Hadi who makes it through. I missed my guess. All of the hypercars have made it through turns 1, 2 and 3 without drama. Nobody's been through the gravel, and they're already climbing the hill out of Tosa as we ride on board with Julian Andlauer towards the tail of the field.
Yeah, 3 cars already passed by the number 50 Ferrari starting from the back of the grid, but all sorts of rumbles going on in the middle pack. Yeah.
But is now riding on board the number 36, cars everywhere as you should imagine. Now up to the Villeneuve chicane, 3 abreast here, and there's contact with one of the BMWs and the Porsches.
Earl Bamber's view there from the caddy.
Now watch the Alpines. Oh, there was contact there, wasn't there?
Oh, that you saw the dust getting kicked up, and that's the dust that the GT cars were going through.
Here we go. Oh, a little nudge from behind as well, maybe. It is always tense because you know this is one of your only chances, and that's the contact I saw sandwiched between two cars there.
We go green, and it is Will Stevens who takes the lead. The number 5 of Julian Andlauer, the Porsche under pressure around the outside. Earl Bamber trying to go through down into turn 2, but the road comes in favour of Andlauer in the red and white Porsche. Behind the white nose of the Peugeot, Loic Duval right with them. There's a little gap back there to the number 20 BMW. Duval weaving furiously to try and build some heat in the Peugeot's front tyres, but it is Will Stevens that leads from Julian Andlauer and Earl Bamber. Loic Duval is right there, little gap back to the BMW, and behind the number 20 BMW of René Rast is Mikkel Jensen in the second, and the Peugeot's the challenge for the lead. The Porsche with great move up the inside, and it is Julian Andlauer who jumps Will Stevens as they get to that double right-hander at the top of the hill, turn 6 and 7. And the change for the Peugeot as well. Loic Duval Mikkel Jensen has gone by René Rast. And it does look like Will Stevens has not got heat in the front because he's under pressure from the second of the Hertz Team Jota caddies of Earl Bamber.